Hey everybody, this might seem weird of me to say, but I feel like I haven't been making many vlogs lately. I mean, you've probably seen plenty of them coming out because I have all these weekly scheduled vlogs that I've had coming out by themselves. Most of those series I don't think came out super interesting or something I wanted to do all the time forever. I love Manga Mondays, and I have been consistently making more of those, but most of the other series will probably just run their course with what I've got so far and then end. Um, but aside from that, over the past week, I've been working on a series of podcasts, which will be on the main channel, which are going to be called the Old Ass Anime Cast. And generally, the idea of it is that it's me talking about a bunch of shows or general things that I was obsessed with back in 2007 to 11. Some of them go even older than that, but it's all about like shows that I used to have really strong feelings about or that I wanted to say something about for a long time, and that I'm afraid that if I revisit them today, then I won't feel the same way, and therefore all those old things I wanted to say back then will disappear. So, for instance, if there was an anime series that maybe I had, like, this one way I related to it, or this one analytical point that I wanted to say about it, and it was a show I thought was really amazing, and then I were to rewatch it today and not really enjoy the show or feel differently about the analysis, then I feel like that thing that I've been holding on to for all these years would disappear. So the idea of this podcast is to sort of sort through all those feelings about all these older shows and allow me to sort of move on from where I've been stuck with my thoughts on those shows for all this time, and to give them an outlet before I go and ruin my opinions of the shows by watching them again, which has happened in the past for shows like perhaps like F: A Tale of Memories is an example I give in there, where I just felt so much less strongly about it by the time I made my video that, you know, it's pretty fundamentally different from what it would have been had I made a video when I was obsessed with the show in 2007. So yeah, that's basically the idea. And what it comes down to is that I feel like I'm getting older. You know, I'm gonna turn 26 this year, so I'm not that old. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of my audience that's older than me. Well, not a lot, but some of my audience is older than me. You know, there's plenty of other anime fans who are older who have been around for longer. But I'm at a point right now where I feel like I need to come to terms with my past, sort of like to put certain things behind me and move on, to sort of like end a chapter of my life and move into the next chapter, to dispel all these old obsessions that feel like I never gave them enough time, you know? Like there's all this stuff that I spent so long thinking about that it's like it's a part of me, but at the same time it's not who I am now. So, like, they have to be kind of expelled before I can move to the next stage. You know, something that's been on my mind lately is a lot of those obsessions that I used to have, which maybe I can't access anymore, will eventually go away. Like, for instance, I have always had some pride in my ability to sing in a very high-pitched voice. When I was a kid, I had an extremely high-pitched voice, and I would sing along to a lot of like Linkin Park and stuff like that, and that was in my range. I grew up listening to the Mars Volta, Coheed and Cambria, all these bands that really go for the high notes, you know? The, No, there's no light in the darkest of your furthest reaches. Or maybe some, good eye, sniper, I'll shoot, you run with the words you scribbled on the walls. And for the longest time, I wanted to be a singer in a band. I always wanted to be in a rock band. I always wanted to be a rock and roll singer, and use these, you know, these different voices I can do. And I know that I'm getting close to a point where I'm probably going to lose the ability to sing in that high pitch. Like, even just now, it was a little bit of a struggle partly because I've been drinking, and that kind of brings my voice down a pitch, a few pegs. But yeah, like, I know that a time is going to come where I can't do that anymore. And it's happened to Claudio Sanchez. Like, if you listen to Coheed albums, there's a progression of his voice going down in pitch, and if you watch him live, he can't do that incredibly high-pitched voice anymore on A Favor House Atlantic. So I know that I'm going to reach a point where this thing that I obsessively wanted to do for a long time is just going to be something I can't do anymore, you know? Just as a circumstance of growing older. And I feel like there's probably a lot of things like that. There's probably a lot of things that at some point I'm going to have to say. I mean, thankfully, I was never into sports, but, like, all of that is closed off now. Like, you know, if you don't get into a sport by the time you're in your late teens or early 20s, then you're not going to be able to do it professionally. You know, like the level of training and physicality, and as you grow older, your body is just like not going to be able to catch up to that. So, you know, I mean, you can play in maybe a local league or something if you're just passionate about it. But yeah, I'm already past the point where I'll never be a physical star. You know, I could just, you know, I mean, I could become physically fit and healthy. I just wouldn't be like couldn't do it as a career, you know? And so as time goes on, more and more careers will escape me. And the main one I'm concerned about is stuff like the singing, you know? My changing voice, not being able to do things that I wanted to before. And so with this podcast series, I feel like I'm trying to come to terms with something similar. Like, I'm thinking about these opinions that I used to have, that I held dear, that I will not have anymore at some point. And as time goes on, I forget about them. I forget why these things were so important, you know? Like, it's interesting even listening to the podcast because I present all these ideas as though, like, this is what I thought back then, and here's how I've thought about it over time. But there's this sense of, like, distance between me and the things I'm talking about, and that distance will only grow, and, like, you know, it's a matter of time before I've just forgotten what my old opinions were and developed new ones, new tastes. You know, there's lots of shows, the ones I talk about in this, it's like these are shows that it meant the world to me that one day I'd talk about them back then, and then I never did. And now it's like, oh shit, it's too late, you know, because I don't care anymore. So these shows, you know, I'm talking about them in this podcast, but now they'll never get the proper written, in-depth review that 16-year-old me dreamed he would one day write, you know. The ship has kind of sailed on that. And I find this whole aspect of life intriguing. It's just something to think about. Now, as for some other personal updates, just because I feel like I haven't been vlogging, even though vlogs have been coming out. The reason that you haven't seen as much from me is that I've been working on lots of stuff that's to come out later. I've got Devu editing a main channel video right now. I've got 2 more that I've already written for him to edit after he's done with that one, so you know, there's at least 3 videos in the pipeline right now, and that's what I've been working on. Aside from this podcast series, I recorded the entire 13-episode thing in the last 6 days, and, you know, 4 of them are already scheduled, so it's going to start on April 2nd, and it'll be weekly from there, and it's going to go through the whole spring season, so 13 episodes of my podcast. I'm planning to start traveling throughout the month of April, so I really wanted to get a lot of content ready beforehand. Like, I wanted there to be lots of stuff to come out while I'm traveling, which is partly why I did all those weekly vlogs, although I had that idea before I knew I was going to travel, but it was incentivized to make more of them when I realized that. So, you know, there will be these daily vlogs, these weekly vlogs coming out consistently, and this podcast coming out consistently, and main channel videos still coming out, even if I'm not necessarily around. And I really need a break from the internet. I really need to not be on there anymore, because I feel a total lack of invigoration for the entire internet. I'm sick of it. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm way oversaturated on videos. Like, as much as I love YouTube videos and analysis stuff, and I've been the one encouraging everyone to make it, it's gotten too dominant a part of my life. It's like all I do is sit around and watch analysis videos, and I'm just kind of tired of it. I'm tired of being online. I'm tired of arguing with everyone every day constantly. I'm tired of reading people's opinion pieces about me. Granted, I incited a hell of a lot of it with that fucking rant and then participated in a lot of the fallout from it. And I mean, it had lots of positive consequences, but like, I'm at a point now where people are just talking shit about me constantly online, and I'm fucking sick of it. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this place where it's just me arguing with people all the time and whatever. Like, I don't need to be here. I can do my job from outside the internet, funnily enough. I don't actually have to, like, aside from getting online to upload things, I don't even have to be online to do this job. It might look like it, but it's easy enough for me to take a break. And I like being, I like being close to my fan base and everything. I like communicating with you guys and reading comments and responding, but I need a fucking break. I need to escape. So hopefully, in all this travel, I can get away from the fucking internet, go do something else for a little while, and it won't even look like a major, like I'm gone to you guys, because I'll have so much stuff coming out automatically that it'll keep you entertained. So that's why I haven't been doing as many vlogs. And you will probably continue to mostly see content that's coming out automatically. I mean, I'll probably film some stuff about my travels, but I'm not very good at vlogging away from home. Like, when I don't have a concept, I never know when to break out the camera, and I always end up missing stuff. So yeah. We'll see what happens. Maybe some vlogs will come out of it. But enjoy all the content that comes out in the meantime, and wish me luck on my trip away from the goddamn computer.